get stuck, but when I do get stuck, I want to get the fuck out of it. And I plow with it. So I went with the Badlands. It's 180 bucks, $25 I think for a 2-year or 15-month warranty. I can take it off, I go back in, they give me a brand new one. Is that going to do anything when it doesn't work on a trail? No, I get that. But I'm not going to spend depending, 3 something is the cheapest I found, 360, 380 for a worn 4,000 pound, or it just depends on where you go. You're going from 3 something to $600 depending on the weight. This is a 5,000 pound one. I don't know what most people use. I think they're using, I think anywhere 35 on up is fine for these. But I was gonna go with Super Winch or the KFI or whatever the hell other ones are selling. The one thing I noticed, every box said made in China. So does it really matter? I think you're just paying for the name. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm sure you guys are gonna leave some shitty comments or whatever. But I've had a Badlands on my 6x6 for years and years now, and it is still working fine. So I will know if this thing's a piece of junk or not after winter. If I go up and down 1,000 times with the plow on this thing, and it's dead by the end of winter, I'll know it's garbage, and I'll take it back, get a new one, and put that one on my 6-wheeler or something, and then buy a good one. But I'm not out to buy name brand shit just because it's name brand. Everything's coming from China anyways. Got your typical, if you ever put on a winch, it's all the same crap. This thing, I don't know where to mount it yet. I think I may just leave it loose under the hood because I would like it somewhere on the shifter, but the extra bulkiness, and if I put a half windshield on this, a lot of guys are saying when you grab that shift knob, you're smashing your knuckles on the half windshield, so I don't want to add anything extra right now. So for this, I did not buy a bracket to fit this machine because I've looked at them. And for 60 bucks, I can just make one. This is the machine. I tell you what, it looks all right. It's got O-rings here, an O-ring there. This is gasketed, this is gasketed. This is just the gear ratio, the housing. But the motor is all sealed up pretty decent. It's got a good thick cable on it. I think it's 3/16 or, what's that thing? I don't know, who cares? It's big. It's a fat cable. The only thing that does suck, this is fucking plastic. Okay? You know what else sucks? Warren has the same shit on theirs. Theirs is plastic. So I'm not in the Warren versus, Warren's American made, I believe, and that's great. But if they can't compete with pricing on shit, then you can't compete on pricing. Maybe I'm getting quality, but when I started looking at winches online, a lot of people are rebuilding their Warrens for the same price as throwing these ones in the garbage and going buy a new one. So that's the way I'm going. You can leave your comments if you want. And I think I'm going to go backwards with this. I'm going to hook up the wiring first because it's the biggest pain in the balls. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's just boring as shit to do. Okay, got done with the wiring. Pretty simple. Nice thing on this here is those are all color coded, so that made it really easy. This is the handlebar switch. The red wire is supposed to go to ignition, so I don't know if I need to hook this up yet. I said I don't know where I'm going to put it, if I'm even going to use it. Other than that, it's pretty clean. Use the bar back there to zip tie everything nice and tight. I took the air cleaner out just to be able to get these bolts in here. I took I can't really see. I drilled 2 holes there. One there, one on the back side, washed on the back foot, snugged it up. Should be good. Not really going to vibrate. Drilled this hole. Both these wires go down. And then, yeah, you can't see. But they run down. I should be able to zip tie them to something behind a bar so they're out of the way. And I'm going to, this is like a circuit breaker block. And it's all positive. So I don't think it's really going to bang into anything, but this is just some, I don't know what it is. It's like rubbery foam shit. I was looking for a radiator hose. I couldn't find one. Just to put it around here, that way if it's banging around, there's no way it's gonna rub up into something or rub through that ground cable. I'll have to just keep an eye on it once in a while. Actually, I think I'm gonna zip tie it to it so it doesn't really get the chance to bounce around. That's the only thing I've seen that I didn't like so far, is they should have had a boot for this. Unless they want you to mount it somewhere, but that's what I would have done. I would have put a boot on it. I was going to take a radiator hose, cut a chunk of it, slide it over. Basically the same thing I'm doing here. So, but this is in cases. Just in cases. I don't like that because that will break that thing off. I'll keep that from wiggling. Okay. It's probably a little overkill, but make them sharp. Okay. That is basically all I'm doing. So that way here I still have the room to put a second battery in. Second battery can go there. The whatever the fuck between batteries, so the one goes dead, it won't kill the other one, can go here. And if I decide I'm gonna just keep adding shit, then I'll put a fuse box in somewhere. I just put my air box back on and then get started on taking the bumper off and working on the winch belt. Alright, let's take out the bumper and talk to the camera. This is a 14. There's 2 bottom bolts, which are 14s. I think that's it. I'll plug it now. I don't know, I'll just keep pulling bolts out till it comes out. There's 2 14s on the bottom. There's 2 12s going this way and that way. And then there's 2 hex heads going this way just to hold the plastic in place, this plastic cover. So once I finally destroy all this shit, I'm definitely gonna make my own bumper. And I mean, hopefully I don't destroy it, but I have a feeling I'm going to. And I'm gonna make a bumper that works without weighing 1,000 pounds. Hopefully. I usually overbuild shit, which is good and bad. It never breaks, but it's too heavy. I'm just using a 1/4" ratchet on these bolts. I mean, I thought it was going to be something bigger, but yep. Okay. So here's what we got. Tinfoil bumper. These are much stronger. Yeah, I mean, this is like the same width that they make steps for your tree stands out of. Not exactly what I would put a plow blade or a winch onto, but that's why my shit's made too heavy. So of course I ran into a problem. I wired it off first, everything looks great. Okay, here's the problem with this winch. The winch pulls from the bottom the way the cable is looped. Okay, no big deal. Except when you mount it here, the hole for the bumper is cut up here. So I would literally be pulling through the, whatever the fuck the thing, the roller thing, and it would be pulling down on it before it got to the cable. So the only way to make the bumper work and this winch work is to mount it upside down, which isn't that big of a deal, but now I'm going to switch my blue and yellow cable because they're shorter. Everything's the same gauge, and I'm going to put my black and red cable come down here all the way over here because the cables are longer. I don't need long ones up there, so I just have to switch cables over, but it's one more goddamn thing to do. So I'm going to start cutting stuff, welding stuff, and hopefully get this going somewhere. One, two, I win. Okay. So these are going to get bolted. Basically what's going to happen, these are going to go like this, that's going to go like that. These get welded at an angle. I'm actually just going to use the bumper. I don't have to crawl under there and do it. Let's see if we can get that angle. Okay. So this. Like so. This goes here. Weldy weldy. I didn't know the drill was in the way half the time.
So this is what I come up with. So I just test fit it. Fits pretty good. Shouldn't be a big deal putting it back on. I'm going to tear this apart, weld this all up. So this bracket here is just going to hold the weight, mainly of the weight of the winch with gravity pushing it down, how much it weighs. That's basically what that one's for. This one here is going to be the force, the winch trying to get ripped out of the vehicle. So I went all the way forward to this, to the rollers. That way there's not a lot of play. I don't know how some of these other ones are, but I know this is the way I did it on my 6-wheeler and I haven't had a problem. I mean, I can hope for the best with this winch. Hopefully it lasts a while. And I'll learn if this doesn't work. Like I said, I'll probably make my own bumper anyways. Because this bumper really is a piece of tinfoil. But the way I have it made, I should be able to weld all this up. Give it a spray can. Bolt it all together. Make sure lock washers are on it. And it slides right back on the machine. Bolts up, and then I can finish wiring it. I think this will be plenty, especially after I'm done welding it. I'm going to weld in here. I thought maybe gusset it, but I think it's just overkill. And luckily I have the ability to do this shit, so if something does break, it's not going to come flying out of my machine, and I can address it then. You know, when I get it back home, I can fix something, remake something, give it another weld. I probably won't have any problems with this thing. If I do, it shouldn't be major, or I'll just learn from my mistakes and make a better design. So I'm going to tear this apart, weld the shit out of it, grind some sharp corners off, spray can it, probably get the heat gun so it dries, put it back together, put it on the vehicle, and then I gotta switch my wiring around. I don't know. I think this is fine. So it bolts this way. It bolts on the end. I think there's a hump there. I didn't really have to grind them welds down. But so it's going to mount here. It's going to pull from the top. It still is going to have a little bit of an angle because that's where the rollers are going to be. But it's not nowhere near as bad if I had mounted it the other way. So I don't know if that's just how these are, if that's just how it is with this brand winch, but honestly, I don't see it being any different. So I think I did the better, easier job, because now I can spray this, bolt that all together, bolt that on there. This can dangle. I slide it on. I push that up. I put the bolts through. And I think that's plenty. If not, I will know as soon as I start pulling with it. I mean, if this was on a truck, no way. I would not do this, or even a trailer, or we pull cars on frame machines all day. So this is plenty for pulling this thing, this bracket on this. You can see the difference in thickness on this. I mean, this bracket's overkill for the frame of this thing, so we should be able to lift it from the roof. Should be. Alright, this is the driver's side. So right here, of course, my hand's in front of the light. Right here is where the bolts go. One side's in there. This is where the winch bracket is. You're gonna have to lift that up and then slide that through. There's one bolt on the bottom, and then there's just one that goes in this plastic. But everything clears really well. Even the winch should be out of the crap. Maybe the connector's just a little bit. So I'm gonna finish bolting this up. Try with the camera. I'll probably knock the fucking camera down, or shit'll be in my way, and I'll stop recording. Okay. I said okay. Yeah. So this is it, done. Bolts are in. I had to drill that one hole in my bracket just a little bit more. Don't know why. The cables, because I mounted my solenoid on the right side of the vehicle, the cables for the blue and yellow were too short. So if you're going to use the right cables, mount it to the left side, but on the Sonda there's way more room to mount on the right side. So I would just switch the cables over like I did. Red became yellow, black became blue. Gives me plenty. There's two factory loops that they fit right in. There's a factory loop. There's a factory loop behind this bracket here. So it'll keep them from rubbing on anything. This is all mounted. This side, they come down from the hole I drilled. 4 zip ties just to make sure they're not going to get moved or get stuck in anything. And then I left the excess down here because there's barely any. I looped that black one around twice. I think, yeah, twice. And that's it. So all this stuff, this may flop a little bit, but I could mount it to that. I don't think that's a big deal. Once it finds its spot, it's going to sit there. So up here, like I said, blue became black, black became blue, then I swapped the red and yellow, okay? And that was just because the blue and yellow had shorter cable. So the blue, you can see how short the blue is, and it goes right over to the ground. Like that's perfect. The red, you know, once again, I covered that back up. The, I can't think right now, whatever the hell it is, circuit breakers. The yellow, I just loop once, still be out of the way when I do put a different battery, if I put another battery. This is the handlebar switch. I still don't know what I'm doing with it, so I'm just going to leave it dangle. I think I can unplug it if I wanted to, but I'll lose it. This seems pretty good. So that's everything over here. So what happened is I drilled this hole too big for that switch. So I just drilled a new hole for that switch. So now that's good. And that was the hole size for that thing. So I'm going to put this whole deal with the handle in the glove box, and possibly when I'm plowing. I mean, I don't know if I need that other deal unless I break this, but it's all hooked up. Down here, you can see that gives you free. The only thing I don't have yet is a rubber deal for the cable, because that is how I kept breaking my other cable. Is me or one of the kids would pull the winch in, I would constantly just be jamming it into that thing. So I'm gonna get one of those rubber grommet type deals, or make something with the spring on it. They're cheap. I just gotta order them. I can't buy them. And that is it. So I think everything came out really well. I think my brackets should hold up pretty nice. It's hard to see under here. But for what I got into it and what I think I'll get out of it is pretty good. Like I said, I'm not real thrilled about this. This is pretty thin shit. So that's why I made those brackets. You can kind of see these brackets. So that's all mounted right to this bolt, which puts pressure on this, which puts pressure on the whole thing. So all in all, I think it's going to hold up pretty well. But only time will tell. So if you have any questions that maybe I could help you out with, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll try to get back to you.